Hi, and welcome everyone to another mini sessions episode. We are at episode 29, and tonight, again, it will be a short stream. I'll be sharing about a tool that I use a lot to serve local static files and like static sites locally, and it's called Serve. So, yes, so Serve is an NPM package that we can use to serve like static sites, single page apps, or just any static file on our local machine. It's developed by the people at Versal, which is a static site hosting platform. I think they also host Node or even Dockerized like applications. I think, but yeah, I they do static sites also. So it's pretty easy to use. Just need to install it with npm globally. So we'll do that here in the right in my terminal. Then I -g serve. So it will install it globally. So we use it by running the serve command on our terminal. And basically what it will do is it will run an HTTP like file server on the current and then serve the current directory. So let's try visiting localhost 5000 inside this directory. I mean, let's run serve inside this directory and then visit localhost 5000. Oops. Okay. So by default, serve if there's no like default index.html file in the directory that you're serving, then it will display a listing of all the contents of that directory, which looks pretty nice. You can navigate it, etc. Other things you can do with it is you can provide a custom port to serve your files on. So by providing the -p command, let's say I want to serve it at localhost 3000, and it will be available at localhost 3000. So it also supports other options, which we can find here. So how did I get to that page? So from the npm page, there's like a link to to the different configuration that you can do for serve, which redirects to their GitHub README. So in order to configure serve, we need a config file in the directory that we want to serve. It's called serve.json. So let's just create. So this is okay. So actually, I'm inside our repo for my site. So let me just build it. Builds. So this is not related to serve. Just building a arbitrary site. Okay. So let's get inside. So this is the site that we want to serve. So we can just run serve here, which will work fine. If we paste the URL, we're serving our static site. But let's try configuring some things with serve. So here are like all the things that we can configure serve with. I actually don't. I actually only use like two of these like all the time. The rest I don't really need them. So I'll only talk about the ones that I use. So this configuration that we're going to do, it needs to be placed in a serve.json file. So let's just open it up. So it's going to be a JSON file. Okay, back to the browser. So one first thing that I like use a lot is the rewrites property. Basically, what this does, it's very useful for serving, for one, serving single page applications, because with single page applications, you usually only have like a single index.html file, and then routing is performed by JavaScript in the browser using like whatever framework you have. And when you deploy that and you enter a URL directly in the browser, like slash like blog or something, blog.html doesn't exist because it needs to be routed client side, so it will give you a 404. So rewrites allows you to like visit slash blog, for example, but actually serve a content from a different path, which would be like index.html, for example. So second use that I have for rewrites is to proxy external APIs. So if, so for example, I have a backend like an HTTP API, a REST API running at, let's say, a different port or even in production, but I want to access that from like slash API within the same domain. So we can do rewrites for those with serve. So let's how to use rewrite. It's actually very simple. Let's just click on the link. Rewrites just provide the rewrite property in serve.json, and then it's an array because you can configure multiple URLs and rewrite them to another URLs. So a format looks like this. Oops. Oops. So you have a source and a destination. So source is like if someone visits this URL in the browser, actually render the destination URL. So if someone visits app slash whatever, it will still display app slash whatever in the URL, but it will actually serve the contents of index.html. So let's just say everything should serve index.html. So let's try that. So once you run serve, it will tell you that it's using a config file that it found within the current directory. So it's using that. Let's visit it in our browser. Oops. So if you can see, if I go to blog, okay, this is not working because I actually have a blog.html file here. So let me just delete blog. Let's try and then serve again. You can see it's rendering like my homepage, but since I have client-side routing, it can't find blogs. It's rendering empty, but it's not giving me a 404, which is cool. Actually, let's try it with a better example. Test. Create test, and let's create an index.html file with an h1. Hello there. Okay, so if I serve test, okay, so will say hello there, but if I go to like slash blog, it will give me a 404. But if I move the config file here and serve again, it will still work. But if I go to blog, it will still give me slash blog, but it will respond with the content of index.html. This works for any like URL you want. So that's my first use of like this config file to do URL rewrites, especially useful for single page apps and to proxy like external API URLs. The second option that I use a lot is headers, which allows us to specify custom response headers that we want to send back when our URLs are requested. So this is usually when you deploy an app, or you can send like HTTP response headers through your like application server. It could be your backend, or maybe through like a reverse proxy like Nginx or Caddy, or if you're hosting it on a static site hosting platform like Netlify. Netlify also provides config files to specify these headers, but for local like testing, if you want to serve a static site locally, just want to check, but you also want to see these headers being sent. This is what I use. So headers. So the format is similar to rewrites. It has the source, which is the URL that we want to match in order to send back the header, and then the headers, which is just an array of header key value pairs. Let's try that. So let's how are we going to test it? So let's just use the same page. So if I go to the network tab, let's just use home page. Let's look at the headers. So here I have some headers, some response headers. So these are the ones provided by default by serve, but we can pass our own. For example, let's try to send a content security policy header just to test it out. So what we would do is in the serve.json config file, we add a headers array or headers property, and here provide a source, which is the URL that we want to match, and let's just match like the root URL for now. And we pass an array of header key value pairs. So we want to pass content security policy. So content security policy, and let's just say defaults RC is self. Is this even valid? Content security policy MDN. Let's check if I'm correct. Source can be self. Yeah, that's right. So default is RC self. Let's just try that. Let's restart serve. And now when we refresh the site, we will hopefully see our header. No, it did not get sent. Why? Actually don't know why. Let's check if my syntax is correct for the headers actually. Maybe it's not the path. Maybe it has to be index.html. Yeah, sometimes I just do trial and error in my serve config. Let's see. Oops. And it's still not there. Oh no, what is happening? Do I have to put, maybe I don't need a slash. I now know. I'm editing the wrong file. Yes, I was editing the wrong file. So let's try that again. So headers, source, and try if it works with slash. Should work with slash. So this, hopefully the original config file that I wrote was correct. So content security policy default versus self. Let's try and serve. Refresh. It's not there, so maybe, and we're using the correct file, so that's nice. Maybe it has to be index.html. And finally, we see our custom header. So yes, these are my two primary usages of the config file. Other than that, most of the time, I just want to serve like static files. So I just run serve right away. You can also run serve and then pass the directory that you want to serve. So that also works. And of course works with a custom port. So that works. What else is here? So there's a lot of configs here. Depends on what you use. Just check them out. It also supports middleware. I've never tried that, but yes. Anything else? Yeah, that's pretty much it for serve. That would be all for this episode. So if you have like questions about what we just talked about, serve, or anything in general, please leave them in the comments. And we do these live streams every Saturday. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.